Hi, I'm Donna. Today's class will be a strong class for your back, good for strengthening core and back. And you'll need a blanket for one of the postures later on, so if you just get that handy. But you can leave it out of the way, and we're going to start on our back in Supta Baddha Konasana. So bring the soles of the feet together and the heels in as close as you can. Take your arms out. And letting the events of the day, your week, leave your body if they're not necessary right now. Just enjoying each breath. Feel the shape of your lower back arching away from the floor and the shape of your belly. Spacious. Each breath spacious. Good, and then bring the knees together. Put your hands softly in under the pelvis, so either side of the sacrum. And we're going to take the legs straight up. But just try and lift your lower back away from the floor still. So it might press down into the floor. Just lift it a little, but press your core down to your lower back. Good. And we're going to just take the legs away. I don't know what that is, 10 degrees, 15 degrees. Okay. If you take them too far too soon, maybe you're trying to hold your legs up with your chest and your neck. So just take them where you can keep really relaxed in your upper torso. But really squeeze your belly, your lower back. Good. And then see if you can go a little more without being tense in your neck or your face or your throat. Good. And you might have one more little level or two more little levels. Or you can just rest your feet back onto the floor. And when you're finished, just take a moment again to release your hands. Find the shape of your back, the shape of your belly. So we want to start feeling warmth in the belly, but not tension in the face or the neck. So let's have another try. Hands supporting either side of the sacrum. So your hands are comfortable. Legs up straight. Just start to drop them away where you can engage your core. So your lower back is arching away from the floor, belly squeezing into the lower back. Good, but face, throat, around your heart, relaxed. Lower down again. Good. Anytime it becomes too strong, just bend your legs, put your feet on the floor, take a rest. Always lowering down again. Nice and relaxed around your heart, your throat, your face. Good. Squeezing your belly, really squeeze your belly. Remember to do that. Good. And then lay all the way down. And you're going to release your hands, bring your legs back to bent. Feet are on the floor, hip width. And arch your back. So you're going to press your lower back into the floor. And then lift your lower back away from the floor. Good. So just finding tension. You might have gone a little too far, too fast, that first one. So just tune in. This practice is to nourish your back. And there's no need to push further than you need to be. Good. Then finding the natural shape. Breathing deeply into your belly. Good. Take the feet out as wide as the mat and just letting the legs roll one side. Turn to look over the opposite shoulder. Come back up to center. Let the legs roll opposite side, looking over the left shoulder. Good. One more each side. Nice work. And then hug the knees in, roll a little bit from side to side. Good. You can either roll to your right side to come up into an all fours position, or cross your feet at your ankles, rolling up and taking all fours. We're going to arch the spine up and down. In the cat stretch. So just place your hands wisely, fingers evenly spaced. Press the fingerprints, the base of the index fingers, elbow creases facing. Good. You can have your shoulders right over the top of the wrists or back a little bit. That's going to give you more room in your wrists for them to be comfortable. So take what you need and investigate all the way along the spine. That front and back, forward and back movement. Good. Let your lower back sink down to the floor. So you're going to hold that. So let the belly be nice and spacious and heavy. Good. And then we're going to press into the hands, lift between the shoulder blades, and then let the neck just hang down. Until you can start to feel the muscle at the back of the neck, the upper back stretch a little. Let the lower back be heavy. Good. You're going to tuck your toes under and come up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Just keep that feeling of the lower back really arching forward. Make your shoulder blades, your collarbones as wide as you can. Just find your neck nice and relaxed and nod your head. Make that nice and long. All right, we're going to press the left heel down to the floor and then the right heel down to the floor. Your feet are about hip width distance apart. Legs are parallel. Feet face forward so they don't face out to the side. And then pressing both heels. Good. We're going to look forward at the hands and bring the shoulders over the wrists. If it's a little too strong, take your feet back further so you don't have such a strong angle at your wrists. So we're in plank position. Tuck the tailbone forward. Okay, we're going to take the knees to the floor. So now you're in modified plank position. And just arch your spine, especially your lower back, up and then forward. So we've got a sort of different kind of cat stretch going on. A little more work in the arms. But just to find that mobility, that forward and back movement in your spine. Okay, arch the lower back all the way forward, lift the breastbone, tuck the toes under, lift your knees from the floor again, so you're in plank position again. And now lift the belly and lengthen the lower back. Look at the difference when you use the front core to support the spine, strengthen the spine. If it's too strong to take your knees off the floor, just keep your knees on the floor. Good. And then you can lower down into chaturanga. Either take your knees to the floor first or try lowering down. Good. You can even hold yourself off the floor and then gently releasing. Good. We're going to press into the hands. Keep the elbows in by the sides of the body. Legs are parallel. Lift the breastbone just as far as your back feels like lifting. Might just be a little way off the floor. Might be right up onto straight arms, but keep the shoulder blades back. Good. And then from here, we're going to press up into all fours, tuck the toes under, come back up into downward facing dog pose. Press the heels, lift the kneecaps, lift the sitting bones. Just finding your own distance between your hands and your feet that gives you a really nice stretch. Enjoying the depth of the breath. See if you can move your lower back again. So you don't have a sense of being rigid in the pose, but you have a sense of fluidity, being able to access that movement in your spine. Good, and then bring your shoulders over your wrists. Bring your knees onto the floor, so we're in that modified plank pose again. Lift your lower back up to the ceiling. Drop your lower back forward. Good, so you're understanding that movement in your spine. Let the lower back drop all the way forward. So then you're going to feel that compression right at the back of the discs of your lower back. Try coming up into plank, or you can keep your knees on the floor. To lift the knees off the floor. And now use the front core strongly to lift and alleviate that feeling of compression in your lower back. So strong core is working, front core is working. Good, then we're going to lower down. You can take your knees gently to the floor to do that, or coming down into chaturanga. Good, lowering all the way down, and then pressing into your hands, lifting your breastbone, looking up. Good, press up onto your knees, all fours, tuck your toes under. Downward facing dog pose. Just nod your head. Nice and wide between your collarbones. Good. See if you can move your lower back again. Just feeling that movement all the way along your spine. Good. And then gently knees to the floor and take your hands back beside you. Rest there. You might want to squeeze your hands into a fist and release. Squeeze and release. Good. And then reach your arms all the way forward. Forward Virasana. We're going to come up into all fours. Keep your hips over your knees. Walk your hands forward and bring the chest towards the floor. Keep the collarbones wide. Good. And then release and come up into all fours. We're going to arch the spine down, arch the spine up, just checking in with that movement, your awareness of your movement all the way along your spine. Okay, and then find the position where your back feels the most supported. So you're using your front core to support the back core. Good. We're going to walk the knees together and squeeze the pelvic floor. And I should have said you need room to take your leg out behind, your arm out in front. So we're going to lift the left leg, right arm. Good. Coming back to all fours. So when you lift, try and reach as though you could lengthen the back diagonally from the leg to the shoulder. Lengthen the arm, lengthen the leg. So we're doing opposite limbs. So if it's your left leg lifting, it's your right arm lifting. We'll keep the back of the neck long and real awareness of how you're using your belly to support your spine. Placing your hands carefully. Keep the pelvic floor squeezing. Good. And then release. And we're going to take a rest again for your hands into child's pose. Just letting your back be nice and wide. Good, and then reaching your arms all the way forward. And we're going to look forward. Take the elbows out wide. Bring your nose and your chest just above the floor, all the way forward. So you're laying down onto your belly. And we're going to reach the arms and the legs out straight again. And you're going to take up your left leg and your right arm and reach. And your left arm and your right leg and reach. Okay, now you can keep going, just lifting two limbs, so the opposite leg and arm, or you can try lifting both arms, both legs. If it feels a little strong in your back, just keep doing alternate sides. Otherwise, lift and hold. Good, so legs are parallel, arms are parallel, we're reaching, keep the back of the neck nice and long, lift up as high as you can. Good, we're going to sweep the arms all the way back. Lay down. Rest onto one cheek. Good. Then if you were doing alternate sides, you might like to try keeping your hands by your sides and seeing how you go, lifting the upper body. Okay, you can even lift your legs. And if you were fine with arms out in front, reach them back forward again. Lift up as high as you can. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. Draw the shoulder blades back. Keep breathing. Good, and then release. And turn to the other cheek. Letting go. Good, hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to press up into all fours. Good. And finishing off with cat stretch again, arching the spine up, arching the spine down. Find the movement all the way along your spine. Good. And then we're going to walk the hands back and take a kneeling position. And you can just kneel up onto your heels. If kneeling is uncomfortable for you, you can keep your hands on the floor and just take your bottom back as far as your knees are comfortable with, so that you get a little bit of a stretch in the quadriceps. If you're happy to sit on your heels, do that for a moment. Good, and then we're going to stretch the feet the other way, tuck the toes under. Same thing, stay forward, can keep your weight on your hands if this is very strong for you. Otherwise, we're going to sit the bottom back onto the heels. Let's bring the hands in front of the heart. Good, and we're going to come all the way up to standing. And finding Tadasana, feet under your hips, legs parallel, feet parallel. Lift the front of the legs, lift the belly, lift the breastbone, lift the top of the head. Good, we're going to sweep the arms up by the ears, look up. As you exhale, bend your legs and you're going to reach forward into Uttanasana. You want to have enough room so that you can arch your spine up and down. So don't straighten your legs to begin with, have them bent, and you might need your hands up on your knees. Some people can hold down further, some people on the floor. But just make sure you've got room to arch your lower back up and arch your lower back forward. Good, and we'll try and keep the legs parallel when we're doing that. So the more room you have, so the higher up you are, then the more you're going to be able to feel your movement in your back. Good, we're going to arch the lower back all the way forward, so making a real valley shape here. Good, and see if you can reach your belly a little further over the front of the legs, reach your chest forward, maybe you can reach your head towards the center of the mat or towards your feet. You can move your hands wherever they support you. Good, and then straightening one leg, then the other. Feeling what the hamstrings are like, and notice if immediately your lower back pops up when you try to straighten your legs. So find your movement, lower back reaching forward, then try straightening your legs without losing that. Maybe you can straighten both of your legs. Good, keep your neck nice and long, nod your head. Great, and then bend your legs to sweep up, arms all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana, look up. And exhale, Tadasana. Again, inhale, arms up. As you exhale, Uttanasana, support with your hands on your knees, wherever you need to. Find that movement in your lower back. Understand that feeling in your body of the front core and the back core. It's a valley shape and a rainbow shape. So emphasize your valley shape. We're going to reach the belly forward, reach the chest forward, reach the head forward or down. Good. Straighten one leg at a time or both legs together. But don't lose that valley shape in your lower back. Or at least we want a feeling of the spine being long and straight there. Good, and then bend your knees and inhale, sweep your arms up. Look up. Good, and as you exhale, Tadasana. So relax your legs, so you're not lifting the front of your legs. And try making a back bend. Arms up and look up. And just see what that feels like. Some people, it might be okay, but it really digs into my back. But if I use my legs, so lift the front of the legs, front of the thighs, front of the hips. Now try and see if that really gives you more support. So powerful legs. Good. And then as you exhale, release. So want to keep that lift in the legs. Keep the lower back nice and long. Use the front core to support. Lift the breastbone. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Relax your shoulders. Relax where your head sits on your spine. Find your breath. Great. Now, we're going to try and step the right foot a long way forward, but keep it light. And you can always wiggle out a little bit further. Right. I'm going to encourage you to have your feet facing forward, but if you're really wobbly on your balance, you can have a chair nearby to hold onto, or you can put your back heel down onto the floor. But we want the hips to stay facing forward. Okay, bend your knee, not in front of your, so right knee, not in front of your right ankle, just on top. Good. Just rest your hands onto your thigh for a moment and see if you can make that rainbow shape and valley shape again in your lower back. Okay, stick with the valley shape, lift the breastbone, bring your hands back to your heart. Good, really press down through the back heel, lift the front of the left thigh, reach the arms overhead, look up, reach the thumbs back, lift up the little fingers, draw the shoulder blades down, throat relaxed, and breathe. Good, we're going to bring the hands in front of the heart and we're going to take the weight onto the front leg. So we're going to spring forward so you're balanced on your front leg. Ooh, I'm using my other foot to balance. See if you can get that leg nice and straight. We're just going to keep the left leg off the floor just behind for warrior 3. But keep the hips level to the floor. And you're going to reach the breastbone forward as far as you can without losing your balance, keeping the hips level. Good. And you might be able to lift the left leg, but don't tip the pelvis when you do that. So keep the hips level. You might just be lifting the back leg a little way. And if you can, bringing the front torso, the pelvis, the leg level to the floor. Keep breathing. Good. Now we're going to bend the front leg and take the left leg to the back of the mat again. So we land back into Virabhadrasana 1. Lift the arms. Look up. Nice work. Relax your hands in front of your heart. Now think about it. You might have to take a couple of little steps. We're going to try and spring back to the back of the mat. Keep it light. Tadasana. Feet are under the hips. Legs are parallel, feet are parallel. And lift the front of the legs. Feel that lift in the legs so that the legs are doing a lot of the work that normally we let our back do when our legs are lazy. Powerful legs. Long back, strong core. Good. So we're going to step the left foot forward now. So we want to keep it light. Take a nice big step. You can always take a couple of extra little steps if you don't quite make it. See how you go, keeping the right toes facing forward. You can always turn your right heel down to the floor if you need to for your balance, but keep your hips facing forward. Bend your front knee as deeply as you can. Just rest your hands onto your thigh, left thigh. Make your rainbow shape with your back, your valley shape with your back. Just check that you've got that mind connection all the way along your spine. Stick with your valley shape. Good, bring your hands in front of your heart. Good, take the arms up. Look up, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. So you can bend as deeply as your body allows into your left leg, but keep your knee directly over the ankle. Lift the front of the right hip, looking up, draw the shoulder blades down. Good, bring the hands together, bring your hands back in front of your heart. Now we're going to do that little spring forward and try and balance on the front leg. So you might have to touch down a few times with the back leg as you spring forward. Good, so find your balance. It's okay, if you need to put your right foot down on the floor, that's fine. Try to keep the hips level to the floor. We'll get the front leg as straight as we can. Lift the kneecap. Good, so we don't want the right hip to lift. So you can have your right foot on the floor if you need to. Keep both sides of the waist feeling like they're even length. Reach the breastbone forward. If you can lower down a little more, you're bringing the torso parallel to the floor. Hips are level to the floor. Reaching out through your leg. Keep breathing. Good. And then we're going to lower down the right foot back to the back of the mat. Sweep the arms up. Virabhadrasana 1. Feel the shape of the spine. Let it lengthen. Good. And then hands back in front of your heart. And we're going to spring the front leg back so that we're standing into Tadasana at the back of the mat. Keep it light. And release. Good, lift the front of the legs. Feel that power in the front of the legs, the front of the hips, lifting the belly so the back can lengthen, the neck can be really relaxed. Space around your heart. Close your eyes. Find your breath, your balance. Good, bring your hands in front of your heart. Bend your knees a little, so you're in just a little squat. Good, and we're going to keep the thumbs at the breastbone, but turn your ribs so you're turning your torso. We're trying to keep the knees over the ankles and not cheating by just taking the hands around, so just let the heart follow the hands. So you're looking over your right shoulder and then your left shoulder. Good. And this might be enough. Just feel what your back is doing. We might be able to make it a little stronger, go a little deeper into your squat and start to aim the elbow to the opposite knee. But again, we're not cheating, just moving the arms around. You're trying to get your heart to follow your hands. Squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze the core. Good. Last side. Coming back up to center, but bend your knees so you stay in your squat. Good. We're going to sweep the arms overhead, Uttanasana, and find that optimum position for your lower back. So you don't feel like you're digging into your lower back, and you're really using the front core to squeeze, the pelvic floor to squeeze. Keep breathing. Good, and then lifting up, straight legs, feels nice. Strong straight legs, so lift the front of the legs and back bend and look up and reach up. Good, and then as you exhale, release, hands in front of your heart. Great, and we're going to come down onto the mat, take a seat. Try sitting without using your hands, or use your wise self and sit down with ease. And you'll need a blanket. That's to sit up onto, and it helps keep that access to your movement in your back. Okay, so have your sit bones just behind that front edge of your support and sitting up nice and tall. Just check that you can move your back forward, back and forward. And then we want to move the lower back forward. Lift the breastbone, draw the shoulder blades down, press out through your legs, your feet, your toes. Tadasana. You can give yourself a little wrist stretch here if you need. So just pressing the wrist down. You can go that way if that feels good for you. Out that way. So out at 45 degrees. Or just have fingers lightly resting onto the floor, but lifting the spine, stretching out through the legs. Good. We're going to bend the right leg in for Jharna Asana. Take your knee as close to the floor as it will go, and you can support something under your knee so it's up higher, whatever feels comfortable for your hip. A little gap if you can between your foot and your leg. Good. We're going to reach the right arm out behind and all the way overhead and reach forward. You're going to reach as far forward as you can and take hold of your leg or your foot. But then notice if that really forced your back into a rainbow shape. And slide your hand back until you can find that valley shape again in your lower back. You might have to come all the way back up to upright, that's fine. So looking for the shape of your lower back, the lift of your breastbone, the space around your heart. So holding where you need to. Good, and we're going to turn the ribs, turning the heart to the left. Keep the neck nice and long, keep breathing. Good, if you're a long way forward, you don't need your left hand for balance on the floor. You can reach that forward as well. Keep reaching the breastbone forward. Just check, see if you can still move your spine here, or you at absolute full stretch. Let's look for a little bit of life in the pose. Enjoying each breath. Good, and then coming back up. Great. Release that leg. Sitting up as tall as you can, legs as strong as you can. Good. And then bending in your left leg. So we'll bring the heel in close. Take support under your left knee if you need that. A little bit of a gap between your foot and your leg if that's possible. Good. And we're going to reach the left arm all the way back so the chest is nice and open. And reach forward as far as you can. So you might be reaching your leg, might be reaching your foot. You can have your other hand for a little balance here if you need it. And noticing you're reaching forward, did your back make a rainbow? Just take your hand back, even if you've got to come all the way back up to upright here. We want to get that valley shape that you've been accessing in your lower back. Good, so you can use your right hand for balance, or you can start to reach forward, holding where it feels just right for you. And in your efforts to reach, to lengthen, do you have a feeling that you're sort of stuck in your spine? And search for that mobility, that movement, that flow. Right leg as straight as you can. Back as long and mobile as you can. Good, and then inhale. And coming up and stretching out through both legs again, Tadasana. Good. And then hug your knees in, so your feet are on the floor, and you're going to reach back. So your arms are straight and you're holding yourself up using your hands at the front of the knees. Good. And then find the mobility in your lower back again. Lift your lower back arch and squeeze your front core to support. Squeeze the pelvic floor and see how you go, letting go with your hands. If it's a little too strong on your back, you can always keep holding. Okay, and the further we lean back, the stronger the front core is going to have to work. And we want to keep that lovely feeling of length, of the best shape in your lower back. Good, so you could be working here. You might be able to take one foot up and then the other foot up. Maybe you can take both feet off the floor. Squeeze pelvic floor, squeeze the front core. Good, you can have your legs out straight. So don't do something that hurts your back. We're looking to nourish and strengthen the back. So if we're just going to hurt it, it's not going to help. Good, and then release. And lift your belly, lift your back. Chest nice and wide, shoulders relaxed, neck is long. You can even reach your torso forward, so hug your knees. Let your chin gently into your chest. Feeling the length of your back. Good. And then release and laying down onto your back now. Legs are bent, parallel, feet are parallel. We're going to press into the feet and lift the hips, the lower back, the middle back, right up onto the shoulder blades. Lengthen your neck, soften your throat. Really use your feet here, so press right across the balls of the feet, lengthen through the toes, press the feet into the floor, lengthen the front of the thighs and lift the hips a little higher. Good, and then lowering down bone by bone. Okay, now you can repeat that, or you can go a little stronger. A little stronger is feet closer in. Same thing though, we lift up. Good. If you can lift high enough to fit your hands in to support underneath your pelvis. You can try that. Don't do it if it's too strong on your wrist. You try to keep your elbows in about the same distance as your shoulders. Press your feet, cross the balls of the feet, so don't let the feet roll out or the knees roll out. Keep the legs parallel, throat soft, back of the neck long. Keep breathing, keep breathing. Good, and then release. Good. And then repeat either the first one or the second one if you're going for the stronger version. Just one that feels really nourishing for your back right now. Press your feet, lengthen your thighs, lengthen your neck, soften your throat. Lift the hips as high as you can. Good, and then release. Good. Put your feet where they're comfortable, hip width parallel, legs parallel. Just let your lower back find its natural shape again. And then press your lower back into the floor. Squeeze your belly, might even feel hollow. And then opposite movement, arch your lower back, let your belly feel spacious. A couple more. Bring your feet out as wide as your mat. Let the legs roll one side. Just let your body fall letting go. Back to center. Legs to the right. And letting your body just fall. And back to center. Bring your legs into your belly and rock a little bit from side to side across your back. And we're going to lay out for Savasana. You could do legs up the wall if you like here. You can check out my gentle class from this week for how to do that. If you're laying out in Shavasana and it pinches your back when you're flat, you could use that blanket or whatever you've got, a lounge cushion or something, underneath your thighs. That's an amazing amount of relief. And the higher that support is, if it's a bolster, it's really relaxing for your back. So take that if you need it, or a head support if that feels like what you need. And as you settle your spine as long as you can, your shoulder blades nice and flat against your back ribs, let your legs just roll out. Letting your face relax, throat, shoulders. Feel the flow of your breath, your energy along your whole spine, right out to the soles of your feet, your toes, your arms, your fingers, top of your head. And let your focus be on your breathing. On the life force in your body as you lay supported to the floor, the foundation, the earth. Stay for as long as you like. When you're ready to come out of the posture, bending your legs, rolling gently to your right side. Find a comfortable position to sit. Sensing the length of your spine and the support of the core of your body, the space around your heart, the ease in your neck, base of the skull. Bring your hands into prayer position in front of your heart. Feel that part of your body, your heart center, buoyant, spacious. Take the feeling of the practice with you. Namaste.